And welcome to the Geeks, and Joysticks podcast YouTube channel. This show called What You Doing, where we talk about what we watch and play during the week. I am your host, Enterprise. With me, mi compia.
Felix.
What's cracking, dope? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Your balls got drained this weekend?
Yes, they were.
Good for you. Let's start.
Did you drain yours?
Yeah. I don't know. Sure. Let's start off today's episode with some Murdercona. Okay, ready? I'm gonna lump a couple of them in here.
Okay.
But let's start with Evil Genius. This is on Netflix. Came out in 2018, and it's about a bank robbery that happened in, I forget where, but it's in 2003. So this guy walks into a bank with a fucking Saw movie contraption thing around his neck, saying that he needs money. Give me money.
I know this story.
And he also walked in with a literal Saints Row weapon in a shotgun cane. So he was walking around with a shotgun cane and a saw contraption around his neck and demanding money. He got money. He walking out to the bank. Obviously, police caught his ass, and he's handcuffed. He's on the floor. They back up. He's saying it's beeping, it's beeping, it's beeping. I don't know what's going on. Some black dudes told me to rob the bank y la verga. And they're like, what? Yeah, some black dude told me to rob the bank and it's beeping. I don't know if it's gonna go off or not. And it goes beep 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 beep, and it goes off like a motherfucking Call of Duty Claymore, son. That fool blew the fuck up.
I remember the story.
Did you watch this at all?
No, I heard this in a podcast called Do Go On. It was oh my god.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. So Brian Wells is our guy that robbed the bank, and that's where our mystery starts as to who is he, what he doing, what's going on, is he involved, was he not, is it bullshit, or was he put up to a task or what? So turns out he works at a pizza place called Mamma Mia Pizza. And
so here, the one in Mexico?
No, that's why I have it memorized that it's Mamma Mia, because there's a Mamma Mia chain down here, which sucks now. Step your pussy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And the story is that he ordered a pizza. He got this contraption around his neck, and he was told to rob a bank. And to get the contraption off, he had to go on a scavenger hunt to collect keys. This sounds like a straight up Saw movie. You're like, what the fuck's going on? So it's literally like, it's kind of fucked up because he's a pizza guy. So it's like 30 minutes or less. If not, we're going to strap a fucking saw thing on your neck. Y vas a la verga. Kind of fucked up. But
kind of.
Really
it's
fucked up.
up.
What's even more fucked up after he exploded, they show it. So you get to see how he explodes.
Wait, they show it on the documentary?
Yep, they show the boom, and they probably they probably cut out a split second after it explodes, so you don't see the whole thing. It's not. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's not like you don't see chunks and shit. It almost looks as the same as if he would have got shot in the chest with the shotgun. It's just like boom, and then he falls back. So detectives, to be able to research or investigate on the contraption, because it was a homemade contraption, they had to cut his fucking head off.
Verga.
They had to cut his fucking head off. So they figured out that it was a very intricate and sophisticated looking collar bomb. It was two pipe bombs connected to two timers, and so then the killer, or the mastermind of this whole thing, got dubbed the collar bomber. In comes Marjorie Deal Armstrong. This is a crazy bitch who has 5 former dead partners. She's very smart, but she has mental issues, poor hygiene. She's a hoarder. Later on down the episode, there's a 911 call by Bill Rothstein, who is talking about a body in this lady's freezer that he put himself in his house, and this house is on the way where they traced the last phone call where this guy delivered the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where our investigation starts. And they start to, the documentary is like 4 or 5 episodes, 40 minutes each. And they start to go down the drama between these two. It's all fucking Jerry Springer shit, that they're really, really smart. And then they got, like when they're investigating, they got recordings of them talking to each other, y la verga, and then this. So it's a whole giant, juicy mess. And you're trying to figure out whether or not Brian Wells was a part of it or not. They ultimately do tell you what's good. There's other people involved, and they start to tell you who they, why, who, what the fuck. It starts to get really juicy. The first episode is kind of like a pilot with everything. Like there's an introduction to the stuff. The second episode, it kind of gets okay, but towards the end of the second episode is when the juicy shit starts to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was an interesting story. I remember seeing something about this because it was news. It was only less than 20 years ago. It's crazy to think that 2003 was 20 years ago already. But
shit,
I do remember this being a thing, and I even mentioned it to my dad, and he was like, "Oh wait, he was part of it, no, whatever." And I'm like, "Nah, you gotta watch the documentary, son." But it's a okay watch. I approved for my Murdercona.
Okay.
Something that I really don't approve, but I was super psyched of, is I watched Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Boo.
Okay. What you think about it?
Okay, so this is about, as it says in the title, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, the vanishing of Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old college student from Vancouver. But as we talked about it on the pod, when we talked about this trailer, they focused a lot on the hotel. And this documentary also does that. They talk about that where the Cecil Hotel is in LA. It's right on Skid Row. There's a bunch of hobos. There's a bunch of homeless people. There's a bunch of, well, that's the same thing, but there's a bunch of drugs. There's a bunch of missing people, suicides, overdose, prostitution, drug deals, rapists, killers, grimy. It's nasty. It's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And half of the documentary they're talking about how gross it is, and the other half they're trying to figure out what happened to Elisa Lam. We talked about the video that they showed of her freaking out on the elevator, and it looks like her arm is moving all weird, and it looks like she's being chased, etc., etc. But I didn't like the pacing of it, because we would start to get somewhere towards Elisa Lam's stuff, and then it would cut back to like how terrible the hotel is, without really going into specifications, and a lot of them repeating themselves. And they just go back and forth, and they talk about Richard Ramirez. He used to frequent that hotel. He would hang out on the 14th floor. He would walk up to his room all bloody in underwear, and no one would give a shit. They'd be like, "Hey, get out, Ricky. Where you going, fool? Yeah, get out." And then we'd go back and forth to this Facebook group, because the police posted that video of the elevator. So kind of like the Don't Fuck with Cats, they started a Facebook group trying to figure out what happened to her, and they're detailing and fucking dissecting every frame of that 2-minute video, and they see that, oh, there's a cut, oh, the elevator door isn't working, y la verga. And they start to notice all these little edits that would start and pick up, but the pacing of it I wasn't a fan of.
Okay.
Like they would go, oh, this shit is crazy, and then, oh, Elisa Lam, her deal was she came down from Vancouver and was trying to do a California tour. She started up in San Diego and was going up to Santa Barbara, whatever, LA. Then she wanted to go to San Francisco and go all the way up to Vancouver on like some kind of road trip.
So it kind of takes you out of the whole thing?
Yeah, because you start to investigate things, and then there's a break on her thing, and you're like, oh shit. But then they would cut back, oh, but Richard Ramirez, though, he would be here. And you're like, oh, come on, man. What happened to this poor girl, man? Like, come on. And they're like, oh yeah. And then this London couple, right? This is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. They introduced this London couple, like one of the first episodes, and they're talking about their experience, but they go all to like, oh, we were surfing the web, we wanted to go to California, and we saw this cheap hotel. We were like, oh, Simon, we'll get this hotel, crikey, you know what I'm saying? La verga, oh, okay. And then they go, and then they stop. And then they go back to the hotel manager and like, oh, we had to revamp because we split the hotel in two. And then you're like, wait, what the fuck happened to this couple you're talking about? And then the next episode, halfway through, like, oh yeah, so we went to California. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? Hold on, man. Where you going? Like, it was was weird. The pacing was weird. They tried to do two stories at the same time. It was annoying.
Okay.
It was annoying. But the purpose of the London couple is that they kind of were how do I say this? They were involved with the finding of her.
Okay. Okay.
Without spoiling, they were like, "Oh, like this hotel is nasty," and they would open the water, and then the water would come out. It was like gray and nasty.
That was
like,
what I was gonna ask. They were the ones with the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're looking at this gray nasty water, and then she's like, "Yeah, we drank that water, and we brushed our teeth with it. We showered with it." I was like, "What?
Fuck.
What the? I don't even brush my teeth with the water here, and it's clear."
Yes.
What are you doing? Drinking the fucking gray water? Are you stupid? Anyway, so that leads to
obviously she was.
But they're like, "Oh yeah, we found her in La Verga." So it's a little slow. They talk about the elevator thing a lot. They go into the edits. My MVP, right, was the Mexican maintenance guy, right, the founder.
What the fuck?
Hell yeah. This fool is
why?
Mexicano, dog, because he don't speak no English.
Uh-huh.
And he like, pues yo estaba en el basement y pues arriba están los lockers y los lockers y estaban los lockers y yo fui, estaban buscando y le hablé al bellman y pues estaba el bellman y pues no tiene. That's literally how he talks.
No, estás mamón, güey. What episode is he in?
What?
What episode is he in? I just want to see him.
He's kind of in the beginning. He's like an old fuck that gets like an old fuck handyman.
Okay,
you could probably picture him exactly what he looks like.
Yes, I can.
That's what he looks like. Exactly what you picture in your head. That's exactly what he looked like. Y yo estaba con el bellman y el bellman porque ocupaban agua y no servía el agua y pues fuimos y pues ahí estaba la muchacha que estaban buscando y yo pues como y órale, qué pedo puto. I forget. I didn't write down his name, but he was my MVP. Yeah, he was my MVP. It was hilarious. But they go a lot into mental health and whether or not, and then there's this guy who's a suspect, kinda, but that's bullshit. And then there's just a lot of things coming at you, but you just want to know the main meat and potatoes, which it could really be one episode. I think it's like 4 or 5, also 50 minutes, an hour long. I just didn't like the way that was chopped up like that. And it was produced. It was produced by Ron.
Choppy.
It was choppy, and it was produced by Ron Howard. So I was surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it didn't satisfy my murder cravings. It was okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
Well, I know the story, so I'm not compelled to watch it.
Yeah. Well, if you know what happened to her already.
I tell you the truth, I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, you already passed on it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a quick. It was easy to digest, but I didn't like the way that they went about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. What you been watching or listening to, fool?
So this time I've been listening.
Okay.
I've been listening to a podcast called Leviathan Chronicles. The thing is that with this podcast, I listened to it around 2011.
Okay.
And I had to listen to it again this past week.
So you had already finished it?
No, that's the thing. It wasn't finished. And I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
So the basic story of the podcast is that the story is centered around a hidden city called Leviathan that lies deep within the dark trenches of the Pacific Ocean. Mm-hmm. The city is home to a community of immortals that sought to create a utopia over 1,000 years ago. So it's that, and there's one woman named Macallan Orsel, who's a scientist in New York, that is kind of intertwined with this Leviathan thing. So,
but is this a fictional story?
Completely fictional.
Okay.
So
sounds kind of cool.
It actually is, because this is not this like audiobook type podcast. This is a full on production. So this is an audio drama, like those radio serials they used to do way back in the day. So
so they're 40s, acting 50s. They're acting everything out.
Yeah, there are a lot of actors. There's sound design. There's musical score. It's like a movie for your ears. So it's actually pretty cool. We back in when I started college, which was in 2010. I don't know how, I don't know why I stumbled upon this one and a zombie podcast called We're Alive. It's that I think is one of the best audio podcasts, audio dramas I've heard in a while. That's pretty long too, but that was consistent. It started, it had its hiatuses, and then it ended. This one though, this started in 2008, then stopped in 2011, then it came back in 2012 and stopped in 2014, I think.
And you're popping in and out listening this whole time?
Yes. So when I started listening, I listened to the whole first season, and when I got like 5 or 6 episodes into the second season, I caught up. So I had to wait 2 weeks for each episode, and each episode is like a 40-minute episode. Yeah. So when it ended on such a cliffhanger. I wanted to know what happened, and the dude, the creator, called Christoph Laputka, that's a huge motherfucker. Mm-hmm. He said, okay, we're going to come back with this in like a year or two. Okay. A year or two later, you know what? I'm gonna pause it because my wife is sick. And I was like, oh shit, I hope his wife's okay. But it paused indefinitely. So I finished college. I started working and nothing. And then out of the blue, and I can't remember the year, he posted that his wife died of cancer, and I was like, oh fuck me. So that's why he stopped the podcast. And after some years, he posted again. He said, you know what, we're back on in full production. So in 2020, it came back again with the last 13 episodes. They really closed pretty good. They closed the story pretty good. They leave some threads open, but my god, if this is not literally the second best audio drama I've heard ever, because I've heard a lot of them, and some are really poor in their sound design and their acting, and this is by far one of the best there is.
So what is it about again? They're looking for a long lost city in the deep bowels of hell, kind of?
No, the thing is that this scientist called McAllen, she's a doctor. She has a doctorate in biology, I think. Let's see. She's a doctor in biology, and she's researching a way to prolong human life because her grandmother is dying, and she's kind of got schizophrenia. But down the line, you figure out that there's this organization called the Black Door Group, which is part of the CIA, that wants to get to McAllen's grandmother because her grandmother holds a secret. Oh. Then McAllen is dragged into this kind of civil war between two factions of immortals. One, which is the Rebellion, which are based in New York, and the other one is the Leviathan group that is deep underwater. And I'm kind of struggling to describe this because so much happens. They go to India.
Did this guy write it, or is this something else?
No, he wrote it, he produced it, and he is one of the actors on it.
Cool.
There's some amazing set pieces. The action scenes, you really can't imagine them. There's some fight sequences that are really well described, and you can imagine the
Is there a
cinematic movements. Yes.
How do you know what they're? Oh, so the guy's like, oh, then he pulled out a gun.
So the way they narrate it is a little bit cheesy because they kind of describe a little bit too much in detail some things, but myself, I could get past that because I was so invested in the story that was.
And like, you've done it before. Nothing. You've experienced these kind of podcasts, so it's not like you know what you're going into.
Oh yes, exactly. So, and these audio dramas right now, they kind of over narrate or over describe some things.
Yeah.
And I say this is the second best one because We're Alive. If I remember correctly, it does not have a narrator. So the actors are literally acting shit, and you hear the sounds, you imagine everything, but there's no narrator. So It's actually pretty cool, and the way they do this in the sci-fi kind of spectrum, it is a step in the same level of production. So it's 50 episodes with some special episodes sprinkled in. There are like 5 more, and they're like 45 minutes to an hour each. It is a little bit of a hassle right now because it's 50 hours, and we talked about it on the podcast. Remember, like getting invested in something that's already
like if you telling me listen to this thing is 50 episodes an hour each is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but since it's a podcast, you can either binge a part and just pause it and come back to it later. So it's exactly like a series, but it's I do highly recommend this.
I was gonna ask you some video.
And if you can listen to We're Alive too. That's like each episode is divided into 3 sections. That's like 20 minutes each.
I remembered. So because there's so many breaks, is there any inconsistencies with the story? Like, because that guy, like, there's 2 years between a break. Is it clear that he had a clear cut point A to point B from story to story, or is it like because it's been 2 years, he's lost his life, so now his vision is different, or now his experience are different, so now you feel, is there any feeling in the way he's writing the story?
No, the thing is that he, as he stated in one of the soapbox episodes that accompanies the series, he mapped out up until almost episode 100. But he could only produce 50, and the 50 he produced, it was a struggle because the funding was he stopped his day job to concentrate on this, and he was living off of this, and he had to get another job just to pay for his wife's things. So it got a little darker in the way it was produced.
Yeah,
but the story does not
reflect that.
Yeah, the story does not reflect it. So it is consistent all along the 50 episodes. Even though it was like 5 or 6 years between second season and the third.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, we've never reviewed a podcast before, so this is our first. Maybe you can do more later on, but 50 is a lot. Yeah,
it is a lot. But it is actually worth it. So I do recommend it.
Pretty cool. Shout us out if y'all listen to that shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to forget about it. Not hating on it. I guarantee it's dope. I'm going to forget about it because there's so much shit coming out. For me to even try to dip my toe in that one or anything else, honestly, I'm going to forget about it to be 100% real.
It took me a whole week just to finish to re-listen to it again. So, yeah, it is a bit of a hassle to get into it right now.
Yep. Let's move on to the final movie this week. It's a little bit easier digestible than Mi Compa, suggesting you listen to 50 hours of a story. This is News of the World. Came out Netflix here in Mexico this past week. I think it came out in the U.S. last year. It's about a Civil War veteran that agrees to deliver a girl taken by the Kiowa people years ago to her aunt and uncle against her will. They travel hundreds of miles and face grave danger as they search for a place that either can call home. It's directed by Paul Greengrass. It's the same person who's directed The Bourne Ultimatum, Captain Felix, the last Jason Bourne movies, amongst others. It stars Tom Hanks. Helena Sengel is a young lady. And it's basically a whatchamacallit? ¿Cómo se dice? A deliver package mission, right? It's basically a Resident Evil 4 scenario where you run around this little girl. But our
News of the World is called?
News of the World, yes. So our Corona cowboy is basically Philly D. Philip DeFranco.
What?
He's basically Philip DeFranco, aka YouTuber, aka news anchor extraordinaire. He's not a news anchor. He's a YouTuber who collects all the news of the day and then he gives it to you plain and straight, and then he adds some of his commentary. But Tom Hanks travels from town to town doing that same thing. He collects the news of the world, and for a pretty penny, he makes people pay whatever 10 cents. Whoever's got 10 cents in time, he goes into the hall or to a bar or whatever they are, and it starts to read off the news of the world in case you don't have time to do it yourself or whatever. And he's keeping people informed that way, but he's traveling across all over Texas. He comes across this little girl. This little girl doesn't speak English, so that's that dynamic, and he's got to take her back home. Come to find out, there is no home. Little girl's an orphan. This is in Texas in the 1860s. There's a lot of political stuff also going around with the blues, aka the cops and other stuff, and you got settlers versus Indians, and so that's going on. But it's basically an escort mission. That's what I was trying to say. Escort mission from point A to point B. There's way more action than I thought there was going to be. And then I was like,
oh really?
Yeah, I was like, hey, is this Tom Hanks' first cowboy movie? And I'm like, nah, son, I forgot about Woody. He's fucking Woody from Toy Story. I forgot about that.
Pendejo.
I was like,
that's not a fucking cowboy movie.
He a cowboy, bitch. What do you mean?
But not a cowboy movie. Well,
no, I said, is this Tom Hanks playing a cowboy for the very first time? And I was like, trying to remember.
Okay.
No,
I misheard that.
Okay, he's been a fucking FedEx guy. He's been a little boy actually, and big, and then trying to go back to. I don't think I've ever remember he's been Captain Phillips. Okay, he's never been a cowboy, and yeah, he is, bitch. He's fucking Woody, man.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so our Corona cowboy is running around all over the place. Shooting things. There's way more action.
Cowboy.
There's way more things there's way more action than I expected. There's shootouts because they want the little girl, because they want her to be a slave and whatnot. Because slavery is still like trying to lift up in us, and then there's battles with Mexicans and shit. There's wars still going on. There was way more adventure than I thought there was going to be. It's a good watch. It's well paced.
Bro.
You don't get bored at all. No. There's cool landscapes. Okay. There's cool set pieces. But it's basically desert. But have you seen True Grit? Any of them? I think there's like 14 of them.
No, I haven't, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's where what's her name? The lady I don't like. Well, not Zendaya, the other one.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
No. Well, okay, the other lady I don't like. Pitch Perfects.
La puta madre, la Rebel Wilson?
No, son of a bitch.
Anna Kendrick?
The other one, the girl.
No, you like her.
Yeah, I like her. She's cool. Fucking Google this shit now. I forgot Matt Damon was in it. Motherfucking Haley Steinfeld.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was her first role, but she's like a little girl in this. True Grit is a very old ass book. Actually, let's go to the handy dandy bookcase.
Yeah, you have it?
Bam, son, right there. True Grit. It's kind of the same thing, but the girl in this one in True Grit is a little bit more badass.
Okay.
She's shooting motherfuckers. Fuck it. She's shooting motherfuckers and etc. And bringing it back to news of the world, this little girl has like different views. She's like doing other things, but it's basically that, like, the old guy stuck with the little girl that don't want to do shit, and then they go places, and then you know where it's going. It's not revolutionary in any way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not reinventing the wheel at all. It's a story we've seen and heard before. It's our obligatory Tom Hanks every 2 years movie that he's been going in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, ever since Captain Phillips, he did Captain Phillips, and then he did Greyhound, and then he did this, and then we'll see. You know, but yeah, he's running around shooting. Huh?
What was the other one where he was a plane captain? Captain Tully or Captain something?
That's Tully, yeah. That's Tully. Isn't that from the guy that landed the plane in the Hudson River, I think?
Yes.
He did that one too. So yeah, it's our obligatory Tom Hanks. I almost say Tom Cruise. Tom Hanks movie. It's not bad, honestly. It's okay. It's all right. Like, it's all right. It's about a 7. It's okay. It's not like Forget
not
about
bad.
it. I remember True Grit. You know, that's Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin,
Haley
Stanfield. That's a good one. I think that's a better one. This one goes around 8 hours. 2 hours. No mames, imagínate.
No mames, güey.
Ni que fuera Bangers.
Iba a decir, not in a long shot.
No way. But it's an okay watch. It's whatever. Honestly, it's whatever.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It didn't blow me away. So, I think the best thing we did this week was your shit, I guess, because mine are okay. Hopefully, Netflix steps it up next week. Well, it's actually my fault because I'm picking the stuff. But
yes, kind of a little bit.
We will be here next week talking about what the hell we watch and play during this week. I recently just finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so maybe there will be a video game introduction in this week because haven't been one in however long it's been because I've been playing Assassin's Creed for over 100 hours. Give me a break.
Question. Is any stream going to happen in the near future?
Once I finish with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, maybe, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I stopped because I can't play two games at the same time.
Okay.
And I'm trying to finish Assassin's Creed. I'm thinking of streaming Destroy All Humans. I also got Doom Eternal in there, which I will definitely stream.
Ooh.
This other very artsy fartsy short game that I have that I might stream the whole thing. So yeah, I do want to hop back on the streams. You can follow me at EY26. I think it's Twitch. I don't even remember. I think that was what it is. And yeah, you can follow us here on the YouTube, Geeks, and Joysticks, right here on the YouTube. Hit subscribe if you're a new person watching this and this reached you. Please let me know if you like these. If we suck ass, anything, let me know. I'm trying to get better at this shit. You can follow us on the Instagram at Geeks, and Joysticks. Also, there's a pod that we put up every Sunday. So there's 2 shows on this channel. A whole lot of content for y'all. You can follow me at Enterprise. Paurazas. You can follow our ghostly friend at Jafel91. We also got our very lovely friend, cousin, blood of the show, Bubbles, at Alex_Mac211.
He should switch his handle to a Bubbles or Miss Bubbles or something.
We'll see. Maybe I ask him to put it on his bio or something.
That'd be funny.
We'll see. Anything you want to say to the beautiful people, dog?
Listen to us, give us some love, subscribe.
Yeah, please. Shit. I would love to boost up the subscribers because I'm horrible at the marketing, but I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
And it shows.
All right. Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Do all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. Always and forever. You do you.
Bye.
Bye. Pop because I didn't pop on the button.